Hey guys, welcome to this edition of Strut's Garage. Today I'm working on my 2001 Corvette. Specifically, I'm installing a harness bar. This will complement my race seats and 6-point harnesses. The harness bar runs between the B-pillars behind the seat. This is what your shoulder harnesses will attach to. So it has the gads on here to keep your shoulder harnesses in place so they don't slide side to side on the bar. It uses the existing mounting location on the vehicle. This is where the upper seatbelt mounting point goes to into the B-pillar. So you take that bolt out and then you can sandwich this in there, which is nice. You don't have to do any extensive modification to the interior of the vehicle. This brand is Sharp Bar. It's made by a company called VetteWorks. They're out in Washington. Overall, it's got some nice weight to it. All the welds seem really nice. Overall, really good fit and finish. And A+ on their packaging as well. They really wrapped this up very nicely. Like I said, it shipped all the way across the country. There's not a single scratch on it, which is nice because this is an interior piece. So you would see this. Not that it really matters, but it's nice that it doesn't have a bunch of scratches on it. They also include these vertical strut rods. So these will mount one end to the harness bar, and they run vertically. They go down to the rear seat mounting bracket. They'll attach to these. There's one for the left and one for the right. This gives some rigidity to the harness bar because otherwise it could pivot. If you ever were in an accident or crash on the track, there's load on the harness bar. It could cause it to pivot since it's at a single pivot point on each side. So these run vertically and keep the harness bar from rotating. It includes, of course, the hardware to go along with everything. So overall, I don't think it'd be too bad of an installation. They do include some nice instructions, a few color pictures, but there's only a few parts and a few nuts and bolts, so can't be too bad of an installation, right? Famous last words. So we'll jump into it, see what we need to do, and I'll get moving. Alright, quick update as to where we're at. So obviously I'm doing this, I've got the seats out because I'm going back in with race seats, but to get the factory seat belt out, I'll turn this, try to hold it steady so you can see. So normally there's the plastic cover that's on there. It's just a couple of little tabs on each side, so just take a flat head and you can pop that up, which will give you access to the factory bolt that holds the upper shoulder mounting point in. This is a T50, I believe it is, Torx head socket. So to take that bolt out, it's really not that tough to get out. Once you've got that out, do that on both sides. Then you're ready to put the harness bar in. The key is not abundantly evident initially, but you have to make sure that it angles towards the back a little bit, or to kind of follow the contour of the vehicle. So the way it goes, there's a see if you can see it in there. There's a little 1/2 inch spacer. Then you've got the harness bar. Then you have the factory seat belt. And I should have put the little plastic cap back on there as well. I'll probably go back and do that. But that's kind of the stacking order for the bolt. And of course, they supply a new bolt that's probably a little bit longer so that everything fits on there like it should. From there, I'll back this up a little bit. You'll have these support rods that run vertically. Dropping tools here. So I haven't finished my installation here, but you've got these mounting feet. They mount to the rear mounting tab or stud that comes up out of the floor that the factory seat would go to. So you'd have the factory nut that goes over that aligns this. You've got the just like a ham joint in there for the strut rod. This is adjustable, so you can turn it in or out to shorten or lengthen the rod. That way you can put tension on the harness bar. My one complaint, and it's not a big deal, but I'm going to have to drill out probably this lower mounting hole. I think it's from the powder coating. Makes the hole slightly too small for the supplied bolt to fit through there. I might could keep working with it, but it doesn't fit through smoothly like it should. So probably get a drill bit and drill that out. I think it's probably just the thickness of the powder coating that's making that a fitment problem. So I'll have to clean that up a little bit. So once I've got that done, I'll be able to put the rest of this together. You may be in the situation like I am. Angle this back down for you. Since I've got a racing seats going back in, I'm not using the factory seat tracks. You may have to use a stud extender, which is what this is. Of course, this is threaded internally to fit over the factory stud, and it gives a little bit more height, so that obviously you've got the thickness of this bracket, plus you've got the thickness of the I'm going to use the mirrored seat tracks, and of course they have a harness anchoring system on the back, so you end up taking up all the stud space here, and there's not enough to get the factory nut back on there. So what you do, this is threaded internally to go over the factory stud. It gives you a little bit more height, but I have to drill out this bracket to match this outer diameter, so this will slide over this. I have to do the same thing to the seat tracks rear mounting point as well. I have to drill that out so that it matches this. So I'm doing a few modifications to fit my needs. You may be in a similar boat if you're doing racing seats with a rear harness anchoring system in the back. So something to plan for. But otherwise, this is a fairly simple installation. It wouldn't hurt to have two people. It's a little tricky trying to hold both sides of the bar and get it lined up, but it's doable with one person. Just takes maybe a little bit more effort, but other than that, pretty straightforward.